Ha 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 ha! Bet you didn't expect to see one of these again. Well, don't get your expectations up too high. I just made this because I have some spare time on my hands. Music plays an important part in video games. It adds atmosphere, it creates immersion, and it gives you something to hum to while you're mowing down enemies. I could have simply just made a vlog discussing my favourite video game soundtracks, but that would be way too easy, so I decided, screw it. Let's make one last countdown, to please all my fans anxiously waiting a new one. Same rules apply, one soundtrack per game and franchise, and please respect my opinions and choices, all that good stuff. Without further ado, this is MadJack64's Top 10 Favourite Video Game Soundtracks. Oh god, I've wanted to say that. Every Pokemon game has music that always fits the environment and situation, but Heart Gold and Soul Silver's soundtrack stood out the most to me, as they enhanced all the classic music tracks we grew up with as kids for a new generation. The music is just so upbeat, it's hard to find one music track that doesn't stick with you. You'd be hard pressed to find a single bad soundtrack to any Zelda game, but come on, Ocarina of Time is just legendary. A good majority of these music tracks defined gamers' childhoods. They left that much of a lasting impression. Each track conveys a different emotion for each environment. There's enchantment, there's fear, and there's even a little bit of both. If I had to pick a favourite, I'd definitely have to say the Forest Temple theme. When you hear that opening, you will be immersed in the game like no other track. Now, I did say in a previous video that Unleashed was my favourite soundtrack from the Sonic series, but upon further analysis, I think I might enjoy Generations a little bit more. I'm aware this is technically a compilation of classic music, but each track is remixed in some way to make them sound original. And to me, some of these remixes are actually better than the originals. Some of these are so good, I actually can't listen to the originals because I guess I feel like I've been spoiled with these ones. Modern Rooftop Run. That is all. Now, I've been playing quite a lot of Injustice lately, and I have to say, this is a pretty damn good fighting game. The best there's been in a while. One problem, the music is lackluster, and that's one of the most essential aspects of any fighting game. You need a good soundtrack. Just like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Each character's theme perfectly suits them, and there is nothing more satisfying than decimating your opponent with one of these playing in the background. I dedicated an entire countdown to this game's soundtrack, so go check that out for more info if you want. I did say in that video that Taskmaster's theme was my favourite. while I do still think it's a great theme, I think I might enjoy Zero's theme just a little bit more. Like many other tracks in the game, it just gets me so pumped up and ready for battle. The Last of Us is a worthy contender for not only the best game of 2013, but possibly the greatest game of all time. It is just amazing, and the soundtrack by Gustavo Santaolalla is no exception. The Last of Us deals with themes and emotions that other games wouldn't even dare tackle, and the music only intensifies these moments. The entire soundtrack is good, but the one that just made my experience for this game is one known as Vanishing Grace. This music track sums up my entire thoughts on the game. Beautiful. One thing that needs to be said about Rareware is that they were the kings when it came to creating music, and Donkey Kong Country 2 stands as one of their finest works today. Each track matches the environment and they all convey a different emotion, which also fits with the level. The general consensus is that Sticker Brush Symphony is the best track in the game, but I personally enjoy Mining Melancholy a little bit more. Say what you want about the recent Mario games, but one thing that you can't deny is that they'll always have a good soundtrack. Many fans consider Galaxy 1 or 2 to have the best soundtracks in the series, but come on guys, Super Mario 64's is just iconic. Nostalgia doesn't even begin to describe the music. The soundtrack has been firmly planted in our minds since childhood. Each track makes me smile with nostalgia, but there's no denying that the finest one in the game is the underwater theme. Just amazing. Come on, no music related countdown is complete without Banjo Kazooie or Tooie. Just like Super Mario 64, the music in these games is renowned in the video game community. There is not a single music track I do not enjoy in the first one. 2E has the more forgettable soundtrack, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy a good majority of the standout ones. Both Kazooie and 2E will go down for having some of the greatest soundtracks in all of gaming. Journey just might hold the trump card for having the greatest soundtrack in all of gaming. The game would have never been as good if it didn't have the music of this quality. Journey stirred up emotions deep inside me I didn't even know I had. The music was just so captivating and so immersive, it's hard not to hold back the tears in some of the later parts. Journey is an absolute masterpiece, the definition of perfection, and the music stands as the game's defining feature. But there is one soundtrack that I enjoy just a little bit more. Without a doubt, my favourite soundtrack of all time, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance music is absolutely electrifying. I have always had a soft spot for rock and roll, but this soundtrack just cemented it as my favourite genre of music. What makes the soundtrack so adrenaline pumping is that in the boss battles it starts off with instrumentals, but as soon as you trigger a specific event during the fight, the vocals come in and it just kicks the acceleration up to 11. The soundtrack is so good, I went ahead and downloaded every single music track from this game to my iPod. I love it that much. I've played through this game 4 times already, just so I can sing along to the incredible music tracks every single time.